The iron you need to keep you physically fit and mentally alert. Medical studies show that 2 out of 3 women and many, many men lack the daily iron your body requires, in a form your body can easily use and put to work. Every dose gives you more than your daily minimum iron requirement.
We are away.
Many men
We are not alone. We are striving for more.
So if you're not getting the iron your body needs, if you feel weak, run down, and are easily upset, start taking iron today.
TGIF. Ladies and gentlemen, thank God it is flat. And let's go ahead and thank God it's Friday. Welcome to Have No Sphere right here on Iron Rail Media. My name is Josh Corey, and we have a nice, calm, relaxing show. Not at all like last week. Last week was a bit of a chaotic cluster. But this week's going to be a little bit more calm, a little bit more organized. We're going to jump right in with the hellos and say hello to the man with the sun in his eyes, one Mr. Zachary, too nice for rice. The nomad, one Mr. Navin Johnson, Zabala, or Good Times for All, if you prefer. Zach, how you doing?
Pretty good. You forgot Stay Puffed.
Damn it. I always forget one, don't I?
You'll get it one of these days. You guys got to quit adding more names every few months.
Well, you need to quit doing so much awesome stuff.
Yeah, I guess. But thanks, man. No, that's awesome. It's good day Friday. I think 76 degrees here in beautiful Central Florida. So I am not complaining.
That's
yeah. Ready for a great show.
Great. Me too. I see Adam's handsome face sticking out there from the side. Adam Meakin, how are you doing, sir? How's your week been?
It's getting worse, if I'm being honest. Work-wise, it's terribly shocking, mate. I've had enough. I've got some help in soon, hopefully, but I don't know. Flat Earth-wise, probably worse. It's been a funny mixed bag this week. I'm not going to go into it, but odd, hence the reason for my post in the week attracting a copyright strike. But I think that says everything I want to say what I posted in the week. We're stronger together, guys. That's all I'd say.
Yeah, I'll eat that strike. It was worth putting that up there. Plus, it's The Life of Brian. The Life of Brian is really what introduced me into good comedy. None of these dick and fart jokes like the Americans like to use, but a little more heady, some more thoughtful humor as presented by Monty Python.
I'm sat with a bag of otter noses right now.
That's a nice gourd.
Splat.
Anyway, here's somebody we don't get to talk to that often, but we have been, at least as of late, one Mr. Rob Freddy. Rob, we got to talk to you this morning over there in the Ironworks. How was the rest of your...
Yeah, I went to bed not long after I spoke to you guys and on Ironworks this morning. That was good. Haven't been on there for a long time. Good to have a bit of a chat, and good to be here this morning. Be a good show today. Good to have one of our guests today, Ranty. Good to have him on. I don't think I've spoken to him before, so he's my sort of flat earther with observational experiments, and I love that sort of stuff. Love it.
Yeah, we didn't get a chance to talk to you on the Ironworks for about a year and a half almost, because you were our very first guest on our very first show way back when.
Yeah. When does the check arrive? Because does it take more than a year and a half for the check appearance money to arrive in the mailbox, or what? How's that work?
What Walt and I were told specifically was that it was in the mail. So I've just been waiting patiently. I suggest you do this. Take a big deal.
I've got one of the kids waiting out near the mailbox. He's been sitting there for 1.5 years. So should I call him in or what?
Nah, just leave him out there. It'll be here soon. It'll be here soon.
Good to be here.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thanks so much. We have one Mr. John Savage. John, who it's already late. We didn't even get a chance to talk to you last week, did we, John?
I wasn't here.
No. It took me a minute to have to remember if you were or not.
Yeah, no. I've had a busy couple of weeks, big time. And yeah, all sorts of exciting things happening in the Savage household, non-Flat Earth related, so I won't bore you. But
he was getting his ring. He was getting his ring kissed last week.
I tell you what, I don't think that's fair, because he's bored everybody else with what's gone off. So
Thank you, Adam. I was going to get to it. It's tangentially related to plumbing, so I suppose it's well worth a mention.
I have no idea what you're talking about. So no, I've finally got some solar panels on my roof, and they are performing way better than I ever thought. And hopefully, I'll never give the electric company a penny more. So yeah, I'm well chuffed with all of that, but it's been bloody stressful.
You're damn near off the grid now, aren't you, John?
Getting there, mate. Getting there.
It's the way to do it. I'm probably more on the grid than I was this time 2 years ago, but whatever. And we are also joined by my other co-host over there in the Ironworks on truthfrequencyradio.com and tfrlive.com and iheartradio.com, one Mr. Walter Johnson. Walt, how was the rest of your day? Did you get a nap in?
If I could find the mute button, it'd be better. Yeah, .com, no less. Here and there, I caught a nap. It's always good on Fridays. We've had an amazing last few weeks here going on our show for sure on the Ironworks, and over here on the Flat Earth Friday Fringe Cast Have No Sphere podcast, whatever this thing is called now.
It's almost longer than Zach's name.
We're getting there. We're catching you, Zach. We're gonna keep trying. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, I know the energy's been weird. We talked about it a little bit this morning. Don't know. Mercury retrograde over with, but still weird energies. I don't know. We all go up and down, back and forth. It never seems like we're all on the same page as far as emotions or where we are with personal life or whatever. So that's why we're all a family and help support each other. So the ones of us that are struggling this week, my heart and love goes out to you for sure. And I've had a decent week going. We've had some great guests pop in, some great surprises over there on Ironworks in the mornings of late, thanks to our line producer there, Alan Holman. So yeah, it's been fun. I've had a blast. Lots of things coming up. You know, we still got the Shoot the Moon that we're trying to organize the debut for in New Orleans. And then coming up in 2 weekends, not this weekend, but next, the Flat Earth crew in New Orleans, Jason Clark, the guys I went over there and met last year, I think around September, something like that. They're putting together a laser test over there on Lake Pontchartrain. So if you're in the area and want to go check that out for sure, I'm doing everything I can to get over there and maybe try to stream it to our channel or something. We'll see. It's a bit of a trip for me and kind of late notice ish for me to really go do a 2-hour, probably overnight thing for it to work. And we'll see. We'll have to see. So, but yeah, how was the rest of your day, Sir Josh?
I got my nap in. That's not something I usually get to do. I went over and got off the show of the Ironworks and jetted straight out and went to work, which sucks because I hit my 40 hours yesterday. But no, I went and bit a few more hours, hit a little overtime, came home, thought I need to get downstairs and get everything set up for the show. Fuck it, I'm going to take a nap. So I took a nap. I got a nice little 3-hour nap in, which is a big nap for me. And not one I usually get to at all, let alone to take for 3 hours. So I'm well rested and recharged and re-caffeinating as we speak. So I think it's going to be a good show. Last week was, like I said at the intro, it was a little chaotic. We had a whole lot of people here. But man, what an awesome show that was. We had Crow, we had Jason, we had Patricia, we had Karen, we had Dee Dee.
Dee Dee kicked it off, yes.
Yeah. I mean, we just had a house full. So yeah, it's a big show to try to follow up with, but I think we're going to be able to do it.
We'll do it. I think we will.
I think there's a lady knocking at the door right now.
She was here, but she's not here now. She's gone. I'm ready to let her back in as soon as she wants to knock.
I hear you talking, but you can't come in.
I did see her here. She was here. I let her in a minute ago, but she disappeared. But we do have Roxanne Glenn coming on for their bi-weekly update to tell us exactly what's going on with the FE European Tour. And then this week we have on Ranty Flat Earth. # same team, because that's the kind of attitude we need. We need to support each other and quit nitpicking. And who better to support than Ranty Flat Earth? Because Ranty has been out there supporting us for sure. I've always seen Ranty spamming our channel in everybody else's chat, trying to get people over here. So we do thank Ranty very much for that.
Well, thank you very much. I have to say, it's an absolute pleasure to be here.
Well, it's our absolute pleasure to have you. So yeah, you're not at home right now, are you?
Unfortunately not. So the mic might be a little bit hit and miss, but we'll do our best. I have sent some stuff over to Adam, and hopefully he'll present if needed.
No, you're coming in loud and clear, mate. Great to have you on.
Yeah, it seems like it's been a while since we've had you. Been a few months.
It's been too long. It's been too long. You guys are seriously undersubscribed, underwatched. Honestly, you guys are rocking it. You're killing it every single week. You guys should be having 500 people watching. I think we've got 40 in right now. It should be 10 times that. You guys are ace. I love it.
Oh, thanks, man.
I do appreciate that. I love flying under the radar, though. It seems like once you get a little bit of recognition and a little bit of spotlight shined on you, that's when all the drama seems to completely descend. And pretty soon everything you've done is being overshadowed by drama and nonsense, regardless of how good your work has been. A little bit of drama, and it's all done. And
yeah, I'm actually seeing that right now, to be honest. It's really weird. It's you join. Well, I was asked to join FE Core to help out in whatever capacity I could do, and it seems that as soon as you get that tag that you're working with FE Core, you're automatically then labeled a shill. So all the work that was done previous, all the effort that I've put in, it seems to be that these guys are then automatically thinking that I'm some kind of plant or something like that. And nothing's further from the truth. I just want to get down to the truth, essentially. That's it. And I think the people over at FE Core saw the value in the work that I did, wanted to bring me on board, wanted me to work with them. And I've got nothing to hide. So, maybe you're better off doing what you're doing, which is hiding underneath the radar, because trust me, when you're actually getting shot at, it's not very nice.
No, I can't imagine it. I do not envy your position or actually anyone in FE Core, anyone that's getting 400 live viewers every time when they do a show. I mean, I guess there is a little bit of envy, just because I do agree with you in the fact that I think what we do here is good stuff. We put out a lot of good information. We may mix it in with a bunch of other silly, nonsensical stuff, and we do tend to, go off a little bit and get a little weird sometimes. But overall, I like what we do, and I'm surprised we are not watched by more people or subscribed to by more people. But that's just the nature of it. I think it's all right. We'll just keep doing what we're doing. We started this with 0 subs, and we didn't care. And if we go down and lose every single sub we have, you can be sure you can still tune in every Friday right here on the Iron Rail Media YouTube channel to check out Have No Fear, regardless of whether or not we are subscribed to or not. Because chances are we're going to be here hanging out, talking bullshit and talking flat earth and the ridiculousness of the heliocentric model, regardless as to who is subscribed to our channel.
Well, actually, Josh, we started out with no listeners, didn't we? Because we used to do this not even recorded or live or anything for probably about a year.
A good year. Oh yeah.
Not Josh.
That was our pre-show show. We talking about doing a podcast for about a year. So
yep.
Yeah.
Rob was in on those as well.
Yeah. I think we offer
We
nuggets.
also have Ranty to thank for our awesome music by way of introducing us to Stefan and him gifting us with the amazing music that we're able to use.
I didn't know that.
Yep, he's the one who got us hooked up with Flat Earth Audio. Thank you so much for that, brother.
Absolutely no worries. It's my pleasure. Listen, guys, I just want to do a massive shout out to Sheeps and Neeps that's actually in the chat right now. He's in a hospice right now. He's going through some serious issues with cancer. I know that like P900's Sandra Coolpick, she's promoting him heavily for any kind of help that people can do. I watched his stream this morning, and the nurses came in and essentially told him that he couldn't live stream whilst he was having any kind of treatment or anything like this. I thought it was really unfair, but he's in the chat right now, so if anybody can sort of like help him or go over to his channel, support him in any way, shape or form, I'm sure he'd love it. He's a serious flat earther and he's having the worst of times right now.
And this is one of those times that I think we really need to especially focus on holding each other up and not focusing on any differences or any of the drama. This is where the metal hits the meat, where the rubber hits the road, when we really absolutely need to support each other, because this is literally a life and death situation here. So any little bit of help you can give will be immediately felt, because I can't imagine what a terrifying situation that is. What a bunch of crock. You can't live stream during treatment.
I know it was.
Tell me how to do my treatment. Live streaming helps me, punk. Sorry, I want to rant a little bit. That pisses me off. Tell somebody they can't live stream their treatment. What are you hiding then?
I think the hospital got an awful lot of phone calls this morning in support of Sheep, saying, "What the hell are you guys doing? He can live stream from his bed if he wants to. You know, you don't need to come in there and tell him that you can't do that. This is part of his treatment. He's speaking to his family, his friends, you know. And yeah, let's hope that they allow him to do it in future."
Yeah, anybody can get that phone number, that hospital. We just need to call and bomb the hell out of them. Definitely need to allow that. I mean, just the psychological benefit of being able to work through what it is you're experiencing, what you're going through with other people, with a support system of online people that you can be there and interact with, because you're stuck in an effing hospital bed. If anything, they should encourage it. If anything, they should be giving every single fucking cancer patient a laptop to stream to so they can get online support and the help from the people that love them and care about them and want to see them get better. Don't tell them they can't live stream. Sorry, I better shut up before I get a little busy.
You're just saying it as it is, my friend. You're saying it as that everybody that was in there this morning felt the same, trust me.
No one's going to bomb the hospital. That's not what Josh meant.
Is that what I said? I meant phone bomb, call
Right.
bomb, not fire bomb. Call. Everybody call multiple times. Call, get them to agree, hang up, and call them fuckers again and do it again. Because that's just bullshit.
With you, bruv, 100%, I think. He's right to do what he wants. He don't have to be showing anybody's faces, but he's got every right to be showing what's being done to him.
And it's not like he's out there broadcasting other people's illnesses, walking around the hospital. Here's John Smith. He's been diagnosed with testicular cancer. Here's a shot of his bollocks now. He's sitting in his bed. There's no issues. I can't imagine. They're just, I don't know. It seems like they'd be hiding something. I can't imagine there's any good, legitimate reason for not allowing him to live stream. And I'm still waiting on Roxanne to come knocking, but I've not seen her.
Well, while we're there, she's trying to get in. But
I heard, okay.
I don't know if you can send her a link. I've tried sending a few, but
it may have been.
I'll work on it. Give me a second.
You got it. Well, thank you. I was gonna say it may have expired. That's the cool thing about the Zoom links is they do expire. So if somebody run across an old one and want to try to jump in and porn bomb us, they can't do that because the link doesn't last forever.
Sweet.
Yeah.
She's took to Facebook in you, Josh, with videos. I don't know what you're getting, but
I see. I see Twitter. I see Zoom. I see Skype. I see YouTube chat. The one thing I don't have is open is Facebook.
Probably a good thing. So should we get into Ranty? What Ranty's been doing this week?
Sure, no problems. I was contacted about 3 weeks ago by Rude Earther. You might have seen his channel around. He's quite vocal in the side chats, but he messaged me via Ranty at rantyflatearth.com, and he emailed me and he said, "Look, listen, guys, I've got a boat. Well, I'm hiring a boat, and if you want to come down and do some observations, we'd love to work with you because we have a couple of drones down here. We've got a P1000 as well." I'm like, "Hey, wow, these guys have got everything that we need." It's like, why are you asking me to come down? And they're like, "Well, we want you to come down because you've got experience working on the beach and stuff, and we love the work you do, and we'd love you to be a part of it." And I'm like, "Absolutely, yeah, count me in."
Come down where, Ranty? Where was it?
It was travel to North Wales, so it was.
How far is that from you?
110 miles, 120 maybe.
It's not round the corner then, but
yeah, it wasn't exactly round the corner. So the thing was, it was the dates that I kept putting forward was always awkward with either the captain or it was awkward with the guys that were going to do it. Eventually, we managed to get a date settled and went down yesterday. Was it yesterday? Can't remember now. Day before yesterday, and it was awesome. I have to say, the guys couldn't have been nicer. They did everything that you could, everything that we wanted them to do for being just nice, normal people. I mean, Rude Earthers, Mrs. Even cooked us a dinner.
Oh wow! And you hadn't met these people before?
No. It was like silver service. Honestly, it was brilliant.
So there are nice, normal flat Earth people out there then.
There was, yeah. The thing was, they didn't expect me to turn up with Spurs chemo, so I think it was running joke like. But they did say, "Oh, damn, he's got backup. We were going to kidnap you." Because you take it on faith. You get somebody messaged you and says, "Yeah, we got a boat, we've got P1000, we got drones." It sounds too good to be true, so you take it, as seen, okay, and then you go down there, and for all you know, they could be globe earthers ready to throw you in a ditch.
Hell yeah! Well, the boat could have been, what was it, morning cloud or what was? I'm trying to work. What was the name of the boat?
The Jensen.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So yeah, it was called the Jensen, and we went and had a look at it first, and did some measurements on it. So we got an idea of, the height of the boat and everything. So we did some pre-measurements and stuff. I do have I've got a funny video that I recorded prior to that, because there was this big sort of like dinghy that was all beat up, and it was half submerged in water. So I filmed that and said, "Yeah, the guys are going to get in this."
You always see one of them in every harbour, don't you? There's just this thing that's like half submerged. So this boat was it was reasonable, wasn't it? It was 12, 15 foot long or something.
No,
high.
It was longer than that. It was the height of it to the top of the boat was like 12 feet. So probably the length. I mean, I didn't measure the length of it, but it was, I would imagine, 20 feet, 23 feet or something. And it was quite fast as well. It apparently could get up to 20 miles an hour. So
that's not bad.
Yeah.
And so, who was it? Rude Flat Earther hired it. himself.
Yeah. Rude Earther put his hand in his pocket. He messaged me. He told me that it was costing 250 quid to hire the boat, and that the skipper was happy to go and do what we needed him to do. And whenever we were ready to actually get everything organised, we'd put something together and then we'd just head out and do some tests and stuff. So
that's quite reasonable, isn't it? That's quite a reasonable price.
I
mean, I've never hired a boat, so I wouldn't know, but
yeah, it's not like you're going down a canal or anything. I mean, these guys were heading out to sea, I mean, they were going out like, 15 miles away, 14 miles away, out to sea. So I suppose you do need somebody with expertise, especially driving through the wind turbines and stuff. There must be rules and regulations with all that kind of stuff. Obviously, he's got people on the boat, so 250 quid for probably 3.5 hours, half a day sort of thing.
Yeah, and fuel and getting it into the water if it's not already in the, and that's not bad. So what did you get up to? What was the mission or the goal?
Well, you can have lots of goals, and in theory, everything seems to be, like you're gonna have everything planned out perfectly, except that everything that you sort of plan for doesn't always work out that way.
I feel a big butt coming along here.
There was a lot of things that I wanted to do, a lot of things that didn't actually happen, for one reason or another, and a lot of miscommunication. Trouble with the actual communications when they were out there. Trouble with communication with the skipper where he was actually supposed to go. The sunlight was an issue. I hadn't prepared for the wind on the. There was a whole lot of things that I learned that I should have perhaps, if I'd have just taken a little bit longer and thought about it, because normally it's just me going down and I've just got to look after myself, But when you're actually trying to organise something like this,
but you don't necessarily, you're not necessarily going to be able to think through all the problems and the issues if you've never done it before. It's got to be, I mean, you probably see it now as a learning exercise, isn't it, for the next time?
Yeah, that was it. It was literally, I mean, even the guys, Rude Earther told me, he said, look, he says, we can go down, we can do it this time. It's not a problem. He says, because I'm happy to do it throughout the year. Put my hand in my pocket throughout the year, so it's not going to be just this one time.
Bloody hell.
So you can use this as like some kind of experience. Well, I thought, how difficult can it be to organise it? It can't be that difficult. You get in the boat, you get your P1000 in the boat, you film me, I film you, we do this, we do bob a job, we got a result,
It reminds me of Jeran's laser test, the first one he did, and the fact that it came over and the divergence was something like 10 foot high, and there's more to this than just doing stuff, isn't there?
Yeah, I mean, realistically, I probably needed to sit down with the skipper for a good half an hour before he left and say to him, look, here, mate, I want you to go here, here, and here, and do this, and do this, and do this, right? That would have been plan A. But his plan A wasn't to do that because he was booked to go and do some tests and go where they wanted. But essentially, it was to go out to the oil rig, the platform, and he just went there. He just bombed it. He just went. He just traveled. He was gone, and it was like, no, I want you to go here first, And he was just no, and he had his foot to the floor, and off he went. He had a job to go to, and that was it. And it was like, yeah, and the perspective was an issue as well, because from my perspective, I'm saying to the guys, look, I can see you and it looks like you've gone past the wind turbines, but from their perspective, they hadn't even reached the turbines because they were approaching it from a different direction. So they were saying, well, obviously you're not filming us on the boat. And I'm like, are you sure that isn't your boat? It looks like your boat. No, it can't be because we haven't gone to the wind turbines. So then I'm looking around to try and find another boat, and they're disappearing off into the sunset. and then it's like, I'm sure that was your boat, guys. And then I try to find them, and I'm looking in a vast expanse of ocean with at least a dozen other boats around there. And and then you had the wind turbines. Oh, I mean,
Ranty, I haven't got your level of stuff, but I'm going to try and excuse me, screen share with you guys. Before I do, Rox, are you there?
We need a sound check, Rox.
I think she's there.
I'm here.
Oh,
I'm
there
here.
you
Can
go.
you hear me?
Yes, we
Can you hear
can.
me?
Coca-Cola, that is.
Yep. Sounding good, looking
We
good.
did it.
Yay! Finally,
Roxanne.
finally. Hiya, how are you doing?
Doing good, thank you.
Good. Thanks for your patience, guys. That took an incredibly long time. And thank you for having me here. Awesome.
It's always a pleasure to have you, Roxanne. I don't know what the hell. I don't know why it wouldn't show me that you were even waiting to be let in.
I know. I finally saw it because I was open and watching because it never made the little.
It felt like I was outside a club and my name wasn't on the list and I wasn't getting in.
And I also sent the links over to Jason and Robin over there on Skype too, if they're listening.
I hope they have better luck than I did.
Right, Ranty, what I was going to say is I'm going to share screen with you guys. And let me just transition this. Hopefully, that should be on the broadcast. Can you guys see the map? It was just so you could maybe give a little bit of a where the hell stuff's going off. So
Yeah, okay. So you've got Prestatyn that's in the center of the map right now. So can you see where that is? It's there we go. Yeah, so you can see Prestatyn, and you've got a bunch of wind turbines out to sea, and you also have a place called Great Orme. So it's the furthest left on the map. So if you scroll out a tad there, Adam. Oh yeah, so you see where it says Gogarth on the far left?
Yep.
And Llandudno. Yeah, so if you imagine I'm at Prestatyn on the beach, and then if you go across around about a quarter of the way, just down by that, well, go back where it says Seaquarium Rill on the promenade.
Yep.
Yeah. There you go. So that's where the boat left. So the boat left from that channel. So it came out of the inland channel there, and it headed out directly out to straight north, basically. So from my perspective at Prestatyn, and I'm looking over at Gogarth, I see them go past Gogarth or Great Orme, relatively near to where they left the channel. But from their perspective, it took them another mile or so before they actually thought they'd passed that particular region.
You're talking about the sticky out bit of land to the left.
Yeah. So I'm looking over there towards the sticky out land. They passing.
It must be a more scientific way of saying that.
What, John?
I don't savage. Well, what's it called? An outcrop or something? Or I don't know.
It was just. I would say it was a comedy of errors, but it really wasn't, because these guys were saying, "Look, we're heading to the wind turbines," and they were. Whereas I was looking at them thinking they'd already got to the wind turbines. Just perspective. It's like perspective really screws up when you've got two people, two different directions, essentially. They're going in one direction, I'm filming it from a different, and we got a little confused at the start, and it led to one thing led to another, and eventually I ended up losing them. It took a long time to find these guys in the end, but we did. That's the main thing, we did.
So you're taking these. I'm just wondering if I can get a better picture on it. It doesn't look like I'm going to, but it kind of gives you the understanding.
Yeah, there's an image that I sent you with the lines on. So I've got
I've got that. Just give me a second. I'll pull that up. Okay, so this is real. And if I zoom out a little bit, who's drawing? Who's drawing on the screen already?
Not me.
I was on mute. Sorry, I am. If you scroll out a bit. So you were here, Ranty, yeah?
No, I was at Prestatyn to the right.
So is it the bottom of the red?
Oh, now John's ruined the whole picture now, and
wait, let me just wipe the board, shall we? How do we do that? Annotate.
Yeah, we can't see the headland at the moment.
Drawings from Naughty Boys. There we go. Okay, so can you see? If I go back to the map, just give me a second. So the map's there, and we're talking at this coastline here.
Yeah, so it's essentially due west, I would say. So
Yeah.
due west from my position. So I'm looking due west, and they're heading north. So they're looking at some turbines north, and I'm looking at some turbines that are sort of like northwest. So we're looking at two separate wind farms, basically. And when they're saying they're heading to the wind turbines, from their perspective, they were heading straight to them. From my perspective, they were already there. It's really difficult and confusing without me actually having these turbines on screen as well.
You illustrated this perfectly on your video that you put out yesterday, didn't you?
Yeah.
Success. Yeah. So why we should play that maybe?
Well, it's not the success one. It would be the live stream that I did at evening.
Okay.
But it's only because I can't present from here because I don't have all the equipment here that I would have at home. So from home it's much easier because I've got Google Earth and all that kind of stuff, and all the maps are set up beautifully. So
yeah, Adam, maybe you can grab that from Ranty's site.
Yeah, I'll leave you with this screen then, guys, and I'll go.
Well, leave us so that we can see the point, the jutty bit of land.
This is only a minor point, John. This bit, which is basically to do with Captain Birdseye, isn't it, Ranty?
It's more, it's more to do with perspective more than anything. It's from their perspective, they were telling me they were in one relative place, i.e., they hadn't passed Great Orme and they hadn't reached the wind turbines. But from my perspective, they'd already passed Great Orme and passed the turbines. So it was confusing. They were in a situation where they were telling me one thing, and I was in a situation telling them another, and we couldn't find any common ground. So it ended up that we just lost track of each other for a time, you know?
I think basically, John, if you look at Prestat in here, they're basically heading off from this point here. Ranty's looking at them, and he's taking a relative bearing between them and this outcrop of land over here.
Yeah, yeah, I know that.
Obviously, they're setting off, and their relative position is completely different.
I was just saying that Ranty did a good diagram in his video showing that exact point. That to them, they hadn't even crossed that bit of land, that sticky out bit of land. Jesus, we got to come up with a name of that, proper name for it. Spit. But from your peninsula or whatever. But from your perspective, Ranty, they'd gone way past that, and that makes perfect sense. I didn't realise there was more land beyond that peninsula, if that's what we're going to call it.
There isn't.
Okay, well I can't tell at the moment.
Yeah, there isn't.
Looks like a dog's head with a little ear there and its little tongue out. Maybe we call it dog's head.
Does a bit.
I think the best way to talk about this entire test was that for all the failures that we had and poor planning, and I'd say it's going to be poor planning because looking back, you know, perhaps I should have thought about these things and maybe thought of things differently. For all that, we've still got some excellent results. We've still got some excellent flat earth proof out of it.
I was going to say, Ranty, this isn't poor planning. I mean, you got off your arse, you drove 150 miles to the north of Wales, someone else paid for the hiring of a boat, you managed to set all this equipment up and get it done, and you're now sort of realising what could be done better, what you would do better the next time. I mean, this isn't poor planning at all, mate. You actually got off your ass and did something. So
I've got the video up, John.
Cool.
So it's only 2 minutes long, Ranty. So we just play it, and I'll share the sound. Hopefully.
Honestly, you don't really see anything on this video. It's like you really don't see anything.
No, it's the next video, the live stream.
Yeah, it's from the live stream that I did.
And then you can just flick through the video and find the bit where he's talking about why it was so different from two different perspectives, from the boat and from land.
There you go. Flat Earth Panda boat analysis kills the globe. There you go.
That's a great thumbnail you've got there, pal.
I wonder who made that for me.
I don't know.
2 inch.
I was gingering.
2 inch off.
Maths,
2 inch off. No.
Oh, I might have been watching this previously.
2 inches, eh? 2 inches.
Everyone needs an extra 2 inch.
Back it up a bit, I think. Well, it's your video, mate. I can't.
Yeah.
Yeah, where it's showing the map.
The maps essentially.
The bottom of the boat's gone. There's curve.
Before then, mate.
Only 2 inches. No, I saw it just behind where the
I'm only listening to Ranty.
red dot is now.
There we go.
Oh, there we go.
Oh, freaking advert.
Oh, who puts
how rich is
Who's
Ranty?
done
He puts
that?
ads on. He puts ads on. He's rich.
Who puts ads on?
Why
Gotta
haven't you
make
got
those
an ad
shield
blocker?
man. Stacking those shield bucks.
I'm not going to let it play for 30 seconds so you don't get any revenue.
Ad blocker. That's the way.
Don't you want to just starve to death like every real truther out there, Ranty? Come on.
Yeah.
Everybody wants me to starve to death. I actually feel like I need to lose weight, so that might be a good start.
I'm right there with you.
So yeah, so there we go. So basically, I've put some lines in there just showing you guys from their position where there we go. So from their position, they were heading straight out towards the turbines, and from my position to the right, I'm seeing them already way past where I wanted them to be, and we just got so confused. So
And how far are they away, Randy?
By the time they got out from me, they were only about 4 miles away. But that they were only 4 miles away, but perspective ways, it was so different for both of us that made me realize that maybe I wasn't filming the right boat, and I was filming the right boat, but they told me I wasn't. So,
well, maybe we've missed the goal or the mission here. What was the actual?
Okay, so the mission. What you can see there's 5 sets of wind turbines on the map right now. So the one furthest to the left, it's a very small set of wind turbines.
They're the greyed out bits, or the dark patches we can see. Yeah,
yes. So there's 5 there. So the furthest to the left is the ones that I wanted them to go to, and the line that the cursor's on right now. So that line is where they actually went. So they went straight to those wind turbines, and I wanted them to go to the left-hand turbines and do some testing from there. Not them ones, the one further left. So that down. There we go. That's where I wanted them to go. So when they were saying to me, "Oh yes, we're coming to the turbines," I thought they were going to those turbines.
All right, Ranty, can you pause for half a second? I have to call an audible here. I've seen a lot of chit chat in chat that overall the show volume is very low for a lot of people, and for sure they're having trouble hearing what you're saying.
Okay.
As well, I know you're trying to stay closer to the mic, but yeah, everybody's having trouble. I'm just trying to get this behind the scenes. It's not working, so I'm just going to bring it on the air.
Okay, it's weird because I'm hearing you loud and clear. Yeah.
Yeah, but they're hearing us through OBS, so that'll be Adam. Is your
Basically,
desktop?
you're blaming me, aren't you?
Yeah, as always.
Yeah, just check your OBS levels on your audio.
I've cranked it up to full, guys. That's
beautiful.
But this one goes to 11.
Wait there.
Okay, guys. So I've got my face like 2 inches from the screen, so hopefully you can hear me right now.
It's not you, Ranty.
Gary says he can hear you fine in
You're
chat.
good.
So it
You're
may
good.
be everybody needs to refresh. I don't know. I'm trying here. I'm trying.
So yeah, the trouble was once those guys had reached those set of wind turbines in a direct line straight ahead, they actually reached the turbines, and by the time they got there, and then I realized what was going on, trying to see them through all those turbines, and they were already quite a way away. I mean, you're talking they were at least 9.5 miles, 10 miles away by this time, and I'm trying to see a boat that's only 12 foot high from an elevation of just 7 feet. So, I'm trying to look through these turbines on a choppy day with the wind blowing I had the sun behind me, which was reflecting off the screen, so I couldn't really see anything.
So essentially, Shane, you're telling us that you fucked it up big time.
I did.
Okay.
Time, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Everything that went wrong.
Come on. You took great learning from the process.
Yeah. I mean, the learning that I did in the past 2 days or so after the event has been immense. I mean, if we ever do this again, I'll have all the bases covered for sure.
I'll tell you what, Ranty, you must have, because you've got a Patreon, haven't you? And I don't know, it just always struck me that once you get one Patreon, you must feel like unbelievably obliged to fulfill and provide and constantly come up with stuff. I mean, how much pressure are you under? Because,
well, I get about £30 a month, so it's not that much, but it really does help. I mean, I have to say, I've got 3 Patreons right now, and I'm incredibly indebted to these guys because they help put fuel in the car.
Yeah.
When I go down to the beach, and I'm essentially going every day. It doesn't cover the cost of the fuel, but it does help, and it does help so that I can then put the videos out. I feel like I'm not alone, So
yeah, but I mean, it's
to actually get something back.
It's all. I mean, like I say though, you get one Patreon who gives you £1 a month. You sort of feel obliged to provide for that, and I can hear it in your voice that you're sort of apologising for this. But like I say, mate, you got off your ass. You spent a whole day doing this. Someone else paid for the boat, and I mean, I think it's just bloody amazing. And I for one say hats off, and let me fucking finish, Adam.
No, never. Sorry, mate.
The results are good though. The results were still good. Even though I actually met up with another flat earther who loaned me a telescope, who loaned me an infrared camera, an infrared laser, an actual military grade laser as well, and he loaned me this stuff. And he drove like 150 miles, and so the round trip was like 300 miles for him to come and deliver this equipment to me, probably about 3 weeks ago now, to go and do stuff and use it and utilize it. So this was a perfect chance to do that. I wasn't able to take the telescope, unfortunately. It was too big. But yeah, I mean, it was just a perfect chance to use this stuff. So I gave the guys on the boat, I gave them the equipment to use this kind of stuff. But as I say, I mean, it just didn't work out. I wasn't able to put everything together. As much as I tried to do it, I couldn't do it.
Infrared camera, is that an attachment that you put onto your camera, or is that a completely separate camera again?
No, it was just a completely separate infrared camera. It didn't record though. That's the only other thing that I would say. It didn't do it. It didn't video, but it would still take still images. So that would have been useful.
So the ones we see on YouTube of infrared, like guys hanging out of planes, buddy, filming. What sort of camera are they using with the infrared stuff?
Well, I mean, that J. Tolan Media, he's using. I don't know the type and model, but I know that it doesn't have the same zoom as like the P900, but it has probably a better quality camera, so it can take better imagery. But it still has a bit of zoom on it, for sure. But a lot of the guys that are doing the flat Earth stuff, they modify the P900s. I've got a P900 that I still need to modify. I need to get around to doing that. But I mean, J. Tolan Media, he's doing great stuff. You can't be not impressed with the stuff that he's doing. He's come out of nowhere, but he's doing good stuff.
I think I scolded Adam into silence.
No, it's probably the only thing I'd rather do. If I was going to do anything from now, it would be the infrared stuff, because getting onto a beach, you see a boat, getting in behind the atmosphere, you can't see it anymore, and you pull an infrared one out, and there's the boat again, and it's 20 or 30 miles away.
Well, that was the plan.
That'd be just awesome, and I could show that to my mate or ex-mate who's been really, 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 really taking me out the last few weeks, and I went off to him the other day absolutely went off. And but if you could show something like that, a boat from 30 miles with the infrared, and it's just clear there. I'm 100% about everything as it is, but if we need to show, you can show someone that'd be just awesome.
Well, that was the plan. The plan was for the guys to head over to those wind turbines on the left, run down the line of the turbines, because I'd have had a direct line of sight of them going down it. I know from my observations where I do my stuff from that at 10 miles away, it's not a problem to see these boats. So I knew that the boat would go down. We'd have line of sight for the boat. And we'd also have the perspective view of the wind turbines slowly arching over, a bit like Soundly. So the idea of them going down the turbines was kind of like to debunk Soundly, as well as prove that you can see a boat at 10 miles away. And then I wanted them to go into that open space between the set of turbines and just go away to the point where I no longer see them. I fully expected to see an inferior mirage, so I expected to see the boat inferior, with an inferior mirage underneath. And then I wanted them to shine the infrared laser through that, and I would pick it up on the infrared camera. So this was the plan, I mean, you can see by the line of where this boat captain just went, he just went straight ahead. He completely screwed that entire process up by doing that. So we had a plan, but the captain wasn't, in on it essentially, and just had his own thoughts about what he was going to do, and off he went. It turned out he was a glober who thought we were insane. Literally told him that. Literally.
And he still does?
Yes, yeah. Even when the guys on the boat said they can see us from the beach, and they were essentially at that. You see the little pin mark at the very top. So essentially, they were at the pin. There should have been like 60 feet of curvature between ourselves and the boat, and they're saying, "Oh, yep, well, he can see us from the beach." And the captain was like, "Yeah, he's still insane. There's no talking to these guys."
You can't beat that. I've run into that so many times. You can't beat people who are not going to use their brain. You'll never beat that.
Well, I know of one captain out right now using his brain. According to Gary in chat, who unfortunately can't join us tonight, Jason is sailing his boat right now, watching for 12 lighthouses while he's en route. So he's hoping to join us tonight. I don't know if that's going to come through or not.
He said to me, "Well, if he got Wi-Fi or transmission, he'd try and jump in." So that's why I was saying send him the link. So
yeah, I popped it in there. According to Maryland Spirit Level, they've shut down her lighthouses in her area, trying to keep people from seeing things about flat Earth. It would seem.
Anyway, let's get to some juicy stuff.
I was going to say, where do you want me to go, Ranty? Where do you want in this?
Okay, so show us Panda Boat. That would be ace. I love Panda Boat. You guys love Shark Boat, but you're going to love Panda Boat just as much. I trust me.
Oh God, my logo. There's Spurs. There we go.
Hey, look at Panda Boat.
Oh, get rid of me. So I want a bit of glory here, Ranty.
You can take it.
I was like a kid, weren't I?
You got a hope for that, don't you, Adam?
I love it. It's only because we were messing about in the winter. I went, oh, Ranty, can we name it now because of the black and white stripes? So I got all excited at the thought of Panda Boat.
Well, can we whack the picture up there, Adam, so we can all see it?
Is it not playing? Sorry. That's
Jesus.
Spurs' fault. It's not mine. There you go. Panda
One
Boat.
click, Rob. One click.
There you go. Done for tonight. Job done. Well played, Rob.
Look at that. Hey, Spurs, are you in?
No, that was me getting critic, but Wednesday. Okay. Was it Wednesday night?
Yeah, well, Wednesday was the day that we actually did the observation, so Thursday night?
Yeah, that's right. It's all a blur. See, flat Earth, it felt like a week ago.
Come on, guys, look at Panda boat on the right bottom. That's how the camera captured Panda boat, and all the other images around it are what Panda boat normally looks like from a side-on view. And you can see the squishing. You know, this is proper squishing. Red's rhetoric. It's not squishing from side to side. This is non-linear compression downwards. You can't fake curvature by squishing an image through barrel distortion from left to right. But this is what the camera does when you're looking at stuff out to sea, when there's no inferior mirage.
I was chewing with Ranty in the week, Rob, on this, and it took me back to the days of us guys, you know, with the beach and the shore and that little bay and your images, Rob. Just kind of chewing and how much we've learned over these years. It was I'd love to go over those images now with what we've learned.
Yeah, we were talking about Rob's floating island this morning.
Yeah, floating islands.
Mm-hmm.
No, I love the video of my little fishing vessel that's only about, say, 4 or 5 miles out, and he's just bouncing in and out of the mirror band. And I've showed that to people. I've showed that to my mates, and they're still calling curve. But it's clearly bouncing in and out of the curve. Yeah, it's fucking hell. We must be bloody living on a golf ball.
Don't you think that one of the problem is that we don't have sort of agreed upon names for these terms, like sticky out thing in the island, but no, more like mirror band. I've seen Red Hen's ether band, or a band called Ether. You've got the FE cores. Oh dear, I can't remember what it is. What is it? Non-uniform something zone nuts or nubs or something. Don't you think?
TZ or
something like that? Yeah, but does anyone else think that this is a problem?
Well, you spruik angular resolution to someone, and that's 2 long words that they zone out straight away.
But it also doesn't cover it. Angular resolution's not what we're looking at with this mirror band.
But it's big time. But that's the reason when you're standing on a beach why you can't see very far, John. If you get a little bit elevated, the angular resolution opens up, and you can see a lot further. Yeah. So angular resolution is huge. It's a massive part of what we see and what we don't see.
It is, but it doesn't describe that mirror. That
no.
Other people have called it
another words that we use that people don't understand or they don't even want to look into because they're too big words and they're already blowing their mind by saying that.
Yeah. I mean, at least we can all agree on the words angular resolution, but this one is just, I don't know, it's not defined. Well, what was it, Zach? Aries diffraction as well?
Yeah. The thing is, if you look at this boat, you see the red line that's going through the image. So we actually have 2 red lines. So you see the first red line at the top. Maybe Adam, you can hover your cursor over that.
Ranty, just mirror band in relation to this image. First of all, is there a mirror band? What mirroring is occurring?
There was literally no mirage, mirror band at all in the entire day, all day. It's the first time I've ever been out and never seen it.
Because honestly, if you showed that image bottom right there to anybody, the bottom of the boat's gone, and they would think that's curve.
Yeah, exactly. And the good thing about this boat is, though, because it's so evenly marked with different areas that are different colours, which is why Adam called it Panda. Panda boat. You can see that there's a dark area, then a white, dark, white, and then dark again.
Great name.
You know that you're seeing all of the boat. All of the boat is in that image. Except, and if you look at the boat above it, directly above it, so I've scaled it to width. So width-ways, it's the same width. So if it's the same width, if it's the same length width-ways, it should be the same depth, but it's not, nowhere near. And when I've put the same boat to the left hand side and lined it up, you can see how much is missing or how much squished it is. And funnily enough, the curvature calcs are pretty much where that red line runs through. So where that red line runs through on the left hand image, if you look at that image and you imagine that that is where the curve calcs would be, essentially that's true. That's exactly
it's almost uncanny with these curve calculators, isn't it? It's almost as if they were sort of reverse engineered. That's all I'll say.
Yeah, I think I used that phrase about a year ago on Globebusters. I said that it seems to me like they've reverse engineered optics, and essentially when you're looking at this compression, you could basically take compression and say, well, compression, what's the rate of compression? Well, 8 inch per mile squared is about correct.
Bingo.
And then when you get to a certain distance, maybe 7 or 8 miles away plus is normally where you start to see the inferior mirage. So you go anywhere past that, and then everything starts to inferior mirage, and it blurs out, and then it just disappears into that. So it's like
that's where old school optics start to fail as well, isn't it? At that mark, as well. So it's a great point where that equation can't necessarily be inquired into further because of lack of equipment, particularly for the fast, the past few hundred years until
on that subject,
P1000.
Ranty, you said you had an IR camera?
Yeah, somebody loaned me an IR camera.
So did that produce better results?
No, we didn't get to use it. By the time we found these guys, and we were pretty sure that we had these guys on camera, the captain had to leave. He literally said, look, I have to go back. So the time that we'd wasted trying to find these guys, which was essentially over an hour, right? Literally over an hour, because what was happening was they were bobbing around behind a bunch of wind turbines, right? And
you almost needed like a GPS tracker, or a phone of someone who was on the boat with a phone or the GPS. But then who knows if that would have worked that far off the coast. Yeah, it probably would have, but I would just like to take a segue here and give a couple of shout outs to some channels. I mean, very small channels, 62 followers and stuff, but these are guys that are doing the same sort of things as you are, Ranty, but on the south coast, very near me, near the Isle of Portland and Lyme Regis and that sort of thing. And that's the channel is Go Vegan Earth's a Plane, and that's Earth's _a_ plane, and who was actually picking up Brixham from Weymouth, or Weymouth from Brixham. I think it's the other way around. At 77 kilometers away, and I was just saying to them on their channel, imagine what you could see, and they're picking up a lighthouse from 77 kilometers away, but it's pretty blurry. But imagine what they could do with infrared cameras. I mean, it would be unbelievable. And the other channel is Level Earth Observer. They've been doing some great stuff, absolutely great stuff. So I don't know if you know them or not, or are familiar with them, but they're doing similar sort of stuff on the south coast. So they're my plugs over.
Yeah, sure, I'll look them up. Be interesting. I've got an observation coming up in next month. Just over 3 weeks away. So I think it's Easter weekend, but you got to do these things. Easter weekend, a couple of days after the full moon. Let's get to Loch Ness.
Absolutely,
let's get things done.
Because you're correlating this with the moons as well, aren't you? The moon phases and that sort of thing.
I was trying to with this. I really was trying to with this, but unfortunately, like I say, the guys couldn't actually make it on the day that I needed them, so we had to postpone it for about a week. So it wasn't exactly where I wanted it to be, but look at the results. Look at the results. We're seeing all of that boat at 9.22 miles away.
Unbelievable.
there should be 17 or 18 feet of missing on that boat, and the boat is only 33 feet tall. So over half of that boat should be missing, but we know we're seeing all of it because look at the colours on the boat. We're seeing Panda boat; it's all there.
That's right.
Yeah,
Nothing missing.
That's the bit for me, Ranty. That those black and white stripes, and there was a bit on last night where when we were messing about, taking some measurements. And they're pretty even, aren't they? Obviously, the hull, the black bit of the hull is twice the size of any of the other stripes. But you can see it. And for me, it's that first white stripe above the hull and the compression. But you can see all of that stripe along the line of the hull. So you can see all of it. But you can see how it's been compacted. And in the video one, I'll just go back to that, guys. Look, if you look at the top of the antenna, they're level on this comparison here if Ranty's drawn. And even look, by the time you reach the top of the top deck, there's a slight variation. And the rate of compaction that's occurring increases the closer you get to that visual horizon that's being created.
What's going on with the bow of the boat? It looks a bit different. You've got like a pyramid looking, obviously it's out of focus. Or
you have to get a pyramid in, didn't you, Shill? I knew you.
No. Well, the thing is, I mean, the image that I've taken from Google, which is just a bog standard, this is the boat, this is an image of it. So they're the standard images that you're looking at. And yet the image that I've filmed was when they were out on the sea. So let's suppose they've just got a piece of equipment at the front of the boat.
I'd say it looks like this.
Oh, right, okay. I thought that was all you. Yeah, okay.
No.
And was this the boat that he hired or not?
No.
Okay,
no.
Gotcha. But I think it's awesome. I think you guys going out there getting things done. You got Dr. John D as well on the south coast with Roxanne, and that's probably a good segue to bring Roxanne in as well. I just think it's awesome. I really do.
It is, isn't it? It is. He's been doing a lot of stuff, and the next one coming up is going to be the Bedford level, the repeat of that. That'll be on the 13th of April.
And that's bloody miles away from Worthing too, isn't it?
Yeah. He's going up this Sunday to do a bit of a recce, to check that the line of sight's there and the reeds are not going to get in the way and bits and pieces. So all going well. All will proceed for the 13th of April, and I'm going. Dave Marsh is going. A few other people that came down to Brighton are going. I think Lee Earl's going as well. There's a few people going.
Yeah, I'm
glad he's doing that because when the first time I met Antonio, which was about 2 years ago, I only met him once. Antonio Subarats. And I asked him if he wanted to do the Bedford levels and redo that and do it with me, and he was all up for it. And then everything went down, however it went down, and that got put on the back burner. So I'm absolutely glad that somebody's going back and doing that. What I would say is that the reeds apparently are a bit of an issue.
Yeah,
from what I've heard, those reeds are a bit of a nightmare.
Right. Yeah. What is the agency called up there? Is there something or other of something that governs all of that part of the canal? He's been back and forth with them a couple of times, and they've actually given him a specific bit that they claim is free of obstruction. So he's going up there to confirm what they're saying.
That's cool.
With a bit of luck. With a bit of luck, it'll be all good.
Yeah, because Rob Durham did something there last year with his microwaves, receivers and antennas and stuff, and drones and things. So, yeah, I think the key with the Bedford levels is early on in the year before the reeds grow up, definitely. So now's perfect, I should imagine. I wish him all the luck.
Oh, and sorry, just one other thing as well. There was some attempt to do the Bedford levels 3 or 4 years ago, maybe even further away than that. And if you want to watch that video, you'll learn how not to do it. seriously, because
I remember
It was
that.
all over. It was all overgrown, wasn't it?
it was all overgrown, and they filmed it from the bridge.
There
so
was
they filmed it from an elevation of like 15 feet or something. It was ridiculous.
that was Antarctic Warrior, was it? And Dave Murphy and
But what I don't understand about that is that they know very well how to conduct it and how to do it properly, and then they did it like they did it. I find that quite bizarre.
from the bridge, you mean, rather than from the
Yeah. Once
surface
you
of the
realise you
water.
probably couldn't get in the water, you can it, don't you? You go, well, we can't do this properly. You don't attempt it from the bridge because it's not a real, it's not done properly. So why do it if it's not going to be done properly? Is my point.
It's setting you up to be knocked down later on by, ballers who are equally on the ball as we are on the flat. So yeah, it doesn't pay to sort of cut the corners in that way, but I think Dr. John has shown himself to be meticulous and downright anal, which you need to be to do these sort of things.
You're right. You have to be meticulous and borderline fastidious about things, because no stone can be left unturned when it comes to details, right?
Unless you're anti-flat Earth.
Well, to be honest, mate, we're all sort of on the shoulders of giants, so it's learning from other people's mistakes. I mean, that Bedford level exercise was a mistake, but it highlighted so many areas where it could have been picked apart. It was like my gyroscope experiments as well. You got a lead. Okay, so I've got to get rid of the lead. It is helpful in certain ways, and exactly the same as your exercise this week. I wouldn't say that was a failure on any count, but it was a fact-finding mission, I would call it.
No, I mean,
what would you do differently the next time?
Well, the next time, what would I do differently? So the next time I would bring walkie-talkies so that we each had walkie-talkies, so we had constant communication. I would bring a couple of laptops, one to attach to the P1000 so that I could see what I was viewing on a really big screen. Because if you've ever seen a P1000 and the viewfinder, it's only like 3 inches by 2 inches. It's really, really small to look through. And if you're recording in 4K, you've got a lot of information in there and you don't want to miss anything. So I would bring a couple of laptops, one for that, one also for tracking GPS, maybe use your phone unless you're live streaming from it. But I would like to track the boat through GPS as well. What else would I use? Oh, I'd bring a windbreak because when you extend the P1000, it goes out to around about 18 inches in total. So any kind of wind on that is going to have some kind of effect with, shakiness and stuff. So yeah, bring a windbreak. What else would I do?
Hey, Randy, I'm just looking at that picture. Sorry. Are you not seeing the bottom of that boat also because of waves? Would waves be blocking the bottom of that boat also?
We just maybe introduce that picture. I've just.
Oh yeah, that's an awesome picture,
so
by the way.
That's got Panda boat.
Yeah. So you're 7 feet. You're 7 feet off the water, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm 7 feet off the water. So the boat,
Yeah.
the Panda boat, is 9.2 miles away at this when I took this image. It's turned around and it's going back the other direction. So it started up its engines, and what happens is the front of the boat lifts up and the bottom of the boat slips down, which is why if you look at the left-hand side of it, you can still see the bow of the boat, but you also see this sort of like whitewash, and that's actually the propellers in the water, so it's churning up the water, and you see it in the video. So it proves that you're actually seeing the boat move through the water, in the whitewash and stuff. So
yeah,
this is 9.22 miles away for that boat. The other boat.
Well, that's a good thing to point out. That's a good thing to point out what you just said there about the churning the water up there, because you miss stuff like that. But that's a good one, yeah.
But also the better thing to point out is that you shouldn't see the bottom of the boat at all.
Yeah, you shouldn't. 2/3 of that boat should be missing to earth curve.
Yeah.
Except you see that boat on the right. You see that smaller boat to the right. So yeah, there we go.
But how many
that
times
boat-
have you tried to explain Earth curve math to someone and they don't believe you for a start? Even if you show them the Earth curve math, they think that the Earth is way bigger than that, and they just don't believe you. So you showing them that the bottom of that boat's the thing, they'll go, there you go.
Yeah, but Rob,
There you go.
how many?
They won't even look into it one more bit. Other than that, we all know.
But Rob, how many times have you tried to explain maths to someone and they just blur out and disappear, whether it's Earth curve math or anything else?
What I've had a gut full of is talking about 8 inches per mile, and they're going 16 inches, 24 inches like that. Like we're living on a slope or a bloody.
Well, I don't think there's any.
Really annoys me.
I don't think there's any coincidence that most of us are math illiterate. That's by design. So when you try and explain this stuff to them in maths terms, then most people just glaze over. Am I right, Iron Realm Media?
I'm all about trying to make people understand the best way of explaining something to someone. And I think I've come up with a better way of explaining the moon phases. The way you tried to explain it to me, and I think I've come up with a better way of explaining it. But we'll go into that. But I'm all about that, trying to explain it way better, so the numbskulls can understand it better. That's the way I sort of think about it.
Yeah, I think
probably an awesome picture for you to use for that. To be fair, it really is. I mean, the small boat on the right is further away than the big boat to the left, and yet, can you see how I've scaled them? You see the image, the cropped out image that I've done next to the big boat. You've got the yellow part of the wind turbine. Can you see that? So yeah, and in the main image we've got 2 big turbines that go right up to the top. Right, so I've essentially scaled the image because they're at a similar distance. The boat in the foreground is at 9.22 miles away, and I've placed it I've overlapped it with the image so that you can get a comparison between the height of the 2 boats in question. So we've got a boat that's the big boat, which is 33 foot high. How big would you think the boat next to it is? It's under half of that. Would you agree?
Yeah.
Smaller boats at the side. Yeah, that one. It's definitely smaller than the big boat. And you see this in the video, and it goes behind those wind turbines. Now, because I've been able to triangulate the exact position of those wind turbines from my location, I know that boat is at least 9.66 miles away, which means that there's more than 22 feet of curvature, including standard refraction. So we're looking at 22 feet of curve, including standard refraction, and yet the boat on the left is only 33 feet tall. So the boat on the right has to be what? Invisible. You shouldn't see it. It shouldn't be there.
How big did you say that boat was, Ranty? The boat on the right, was it?
The boat on the left is 33 feet tall, and the boat on the right, which I am pretty sure is those guys way further than 9.66 miles.
Your boat that you chartered.
Yeah, it's the Jensen. I'm pretty sure it's the Jensen. And those guys are like 13 miles away. But let's just play devil's advocate here and say that the boat passed both of those wind turbines behind them, which places it at least 9.66 miles away. So when you compare the 2 images, you can scale it and you can say, well, if that boat was 9.66 miles away, and you can see that it's definitely at least half the height of the boat on the left, then we're talking about a boat that's probably around about 12 or 13 feet tall, yet there should be 22 feet of earth curve, including standard refraction, bearing in mind that's without, that's giving them their little bit of wiggle room there. But yet we see all of the boat. We see the boat completely from top to bottom.
See, I think with images like this, coupled with someone's amazing skills of 3D animation to show you on a map and zooming in and showing you the boat, because are there 3 boats in this? I mean, I can see the greyed out one in the middle. That's a boat. I can see the little one on the right hand side. But is the one on the very left, to the left of one of the columns. Is that a boat as well? Is that the boat you're talking about that's behind the thing and at least 9.66?
The one to the center right, the center right boat, that one, yeah.
The little one.
That one is the one that passes behind the wind turbines, and from my location, for it to pass behind both of those wind turbines places it at least 9.66 miles away.
I've got you.
At least it has to be. It couldn't. If it had passed in front of those turbines, it could be anywhere.
Yeah.
It could be right next to me for all I care. The fact that it went behind them.
Let's say, Ranty, let's say that you had unlimited budget and you could get a 3D animator on this. How would you? Can you envisage in your mind how you would explain this? If you had those sort of, if they had that sort of technology available to you, you could see how much easier it would be rather than trying to.
Yeah, well, you see the little boat.
Yep.
Right, you see the white line that's above it.
Mm-hmm.
There's a white line on the rig behind it, just above the boat.
Okay, I've got you.
Yeah, so that is giving standard refraction. That's where Earth curve should be, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if you go to the white line above that, that's where without standard refraction would be.
Right.
So you shouldn't see any of the boat anyway, in any regards, shape or form,
Sure.
let alone seeing it all to the bottom of you literally see it to the bottom of the hull. Adam, could you play the video that I sent you, the MP4 video?
And although it looks as though it's sinking behind some sort of curve, it's not. You can show that it's actually compressing. And
Yes.
and that's into this mysterious weird band. Because it's not even a mirror at this point, is it? It's some other weird band. It's the, I don't know what the hell to call it.
It's weird when you don't see the inferior mirage, you see compression, and when you don't see the compression, you've got an inferior mirage. So it seems like they're going hand in hand. That's the only thing I can think of.
That sounds like Shane's law.
Does
I think, or a Ranty law.
Ranty law, that'd be cool.
And you can see on the pylon there, you can see the ladder which a boat would pull up beside, and a guy would climb onto the ladder. Would I be right in saying that?
Yeah.
So that would only be 6 or 7 feet off the water.
I would say so, yeah, actually, thinking about it. But oh, there we go. So I've slowed it down. So the boat goes behind the turbine, yeah? And
Yep.
From my location, that triangulates it to at least 9.66 miles away, and you can scale it to any distance you want beyond that. I'm giving the nearest possible it could possibly be.
Yeah, you're talking about if it's rubbing up against those
Yeah.
whatever they're called.
If it's rubbing up against it, it's 9.66 miles away, and it should be invisible.
And it's clearly way further than that.
Yeah. Boom.
Great stuff.
There's so much good stuff in here. There's some things that I've seen. I need to find every single boat, but if once I've got everything dialed in, I know that I'm seeing boats at 11, 12, 13 miles away, and I can definitely. I know there's boats there. I've seen them in the footage. I just need to nail it down to a name of the boat, and can I definitively prove that is the boat? So I might have to spend a long time going through all this to put all the pieces together.
Well, I'll tell you what, Ranty, are you uploading to anything other than YouTube? And are you backing this stuff up? It needs to be public, really, on all sorts of platforms. BitChute and all the other sort of.
I don't have anything other than YouTube, to be fair.
Because if they pulled you, I mean, it would be as criminal as pulling Crow 777 or whatever in the 4 years or more of footage that he had. That, like you say, people could spend years going through this footage. We might be looking at something here that we hadn't even considered, and it's important that you've put this time and effort in there, that this is backed up, mate. It's got to be. I mean, they would love to pull you down and have all this flushed down the toilet.
Well, the thing is, it's out now. The genie's out of the bottle, and Life is Short, who did some tremendous videos credited me with some of the inspiration for that, which felt great because his videos are excellent. So the genie's out of the bottle. Everybody knows about compression now. It's funny that the Globers are now actively accepting that compression happens, but they have an explanation for it. Whereas when this first came out and I first started documenting this and talking about it, I was classed as insane. I was classed as, I literally, honestly, even by the flat earthers, they didn't want to know. It was like, this guy's showing globe earth proof. And I'm like, no, I'm not showing globe earth proof. You know, and it's taken a lot of time to get to this point now that people are actively agreeing that we do see compression, which feels great.
Yeah.
It does feel like I'm vindicated, but the genie's out of the bottle now. So even if they took my channel away, somebody else would come along and they would continue the work that I've done. So,
well, I'd say anyone out there who's listening that has some free drive space, download Ranty's videos, because like the Iron Realm, you will find nuggets in there. They may be boring and dull to start with, but you might find nuggets in there. Sorry, Ranty, I didn't mean to compare you to the Iron Realm.
But you got, I'm sure you guys have got so much to talk through tonight. But listen, I've showed you all the best stuff that I've found in the early videos of this. There's so much more. Honestly, there's so much more I can go into, and I could probably do a much better presentation if I was at home myself, being able to show you guys. But I'm just glad that at least we're showing this now. Panda boat is going to be one of the things for this year for sure.
I think it's brilliant.
All of Panda boat is visible. Look at that. Can you see the wake? You see the wake on the boat. It's like you're seeing all of this boat, and none of it. Well, 2/3 of it should be missing, and you know that you're seeing all of it because you can see the stripes on the boat. You know what you're looking at. Look at it. Beautiful. That can't happen on a globe. Let me just say, can I just say before I finish, that that cannot happen on a globe because the spherical shape of the Earth, if you believe in the heliocentric model, means that all liquid should be being pulled to the center of a sphere Earth, which means that all liquid should curve. All bodies of water should be curving. You can't have flat water. You can't have it. So this image that you're looking at now is impossible on a ball.
Absolutely. And on a completely trivial point of view, how come you say water? Are you not English? Are you? Have you got some elements of somewhere northern? Is that what it is? Is it?
Northern English. We can say water.
It's
say water.
The water, computer. You're almost American. I think you've been watching too much YouTube.
Look,
I think that's
boys, let Zach in because I know this compression stuff. I've seen his mic twitching. So, Zach, mate, how do you say water?
Oh, here he comes. Now I see him.
1 minute away from perfection.
Now ask him, Adam.
Zach,
and
Zach,
talk.
How do you say water? You heard our ass say it.
He's orbiting the moon at the moment, so there's going to be a bit of a delay.
Almost.
The water in Mallorca don't taste like what it oughta.
The taste of water doesn't matter.
Roxanne, how do you say it?
I say it two ways. I say water in it or water.
Water in it.
Water in it.
Water.
Or depending on what water you're talking about, government juice.
Go on, Rob. What do you say?
I pronounce it water, my dear sir.
And when you landed on the colony?
Oh, I can't remember. It's too long ago. There's too many people whipping me, and yeah, arsehole English were whipping me as I was jumping off the boat. So yeah.
So what did you have? So what did you have running down the street a couple of months ago?
Water.
Ah.
That's how you say it normally, like a normal person. Okay. Well, it's bloody Silly talk,
Oh,
all
please,
you foreigners.
Zach,
all you
Zach, are you
foreigners.
there? How do you say water, please? And then tell us about what's going off in these images,
Yeah.
bro.
I'm back. I say water.
Oh, wow.
Irish water.
Water.
And
See, the most ridiculous thing you guys say is you put a G, the sound of a G, on, say, wing, or winger.
No, I think there's only one.
That annoys me.
I think
Lose the G, people. Lose the G.
I think there's only one flat earther that does that. But one of the most annoying things is people who say use.
All yous do it. All yous do it.
Go and get a dictionary and look up use and tell me what it says.
Bah.
The worst thing about this is that actually I think my accent's nearest to Rob's because I think he does talk proper like what I do.
No, nothing. You're not anything like me.
Yours is. It's kind of a colloquial common.
Oh.
Everyone else has got a bit of a spoon in their mouth, mate. Yours is kind of common like mine, but a little less.
But I'm with you, Rob. Though the singing and the ringing is really annoying.
The winger. Annoys me.
Yeah.
What's that help?
But I'll tell you what. I listen to hundreds of people and hundreds of hours that I can't stand their accent, I can't stand how they talk or whatever, but it's what they're saying that's important. That's the important thing, and that's where you find the nuggets, is putting up with and tolerating winging and thinging and use.
Kiss you on the ring.
Use lot. Anyway, we must be moving this along, surely.
Yeah, you can.
Guess not.
I had one thing to say. Mr. Savage, you had said Aries diffraction earlier.
Yeah.
I feel obligated. I have to correct you because I'm
compelled.
The reason that people are saying Aries diffraction. I still can't find it anywhere.
Nope. No, mate.
It is caused by an Aries disk, and the actual term is Fraunhofer diffraction. That's the one.
Yep, I'm with you on that. I looked it up myself and thought,
yeah.
But
there's only two types of diffraction.
But who's to say we can't call it Aries diffraction, for crying out loud?
Well, there's nothing wrong with that. That's how we understand it from the comparison of Aries disk and how that demonstration shows us the merging.
Aries demonstrates it, and we currently call it diffraction, or is diffraction the wrong word? Maybe.
No, it's right. But I think
band.
a guy named Fraunhofer might take offense to you not calling it
Aries Fraunhofer band. How about that? That's easy to remember.
What do you think, Zach? Then, in terms of Panda boat, in terms of the let's say over that short height of that boat, I think it's 33 feet. Ranty, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
The relative levels of compression of those fairly equal decks of white and black, just the way it demonstrates the relative compression, I think it's just awesome.
Oh yeah, it goes to show you that what Ranty is saying is 100% correct. Things compress, and it's not every single time, but especially looking out over water, you're going to get compression near the bottom, and it'll be obvious to you. He's 100%. I've been watching his stuff for years, and that's one thing I've always agreed with him on, is that compression has so much to do with it. It's not like you can pick out one thing and say that's the cause. You would have to be able to pause time pretty much and be able to, measure every bit of the atmosphere between you and that boat to actually know what's 100% occurring.
I actually don't think I've seen that live. I always have a big mirror band on the beaches that I go to. I haven't seen compression like that before with my own eyes.
You would need a zoom lens, a much larger lens, because the diffraction is going to cut it off for you. Whereas Ranty's kind of making that diffraction limit a lot smaller because he has a bigger aperture and a bigger lens than your eyeball does. So he's able to see a lot more of the boat.
But from what I
I'm
understand,
even talking with my zoom camera as well. I haven't seen that as well.
From what I understand, though, from Ranty, this is a rare thing.
I would say that I've only ever seen this maybe 5 times at most, and I've probably filmed at least 400 times down at the beach. So
yeah, don't worry.
I don't know if you've seen my video, Randy, but it'd be good if you had a look at it and you analysed my little fishing boat video. It's on Iron Realm's channel.
Okay.
You can go and have a look at that one. What did you call it? Walt, can you remember what it's called? Disappearing boat or something like that. Something I can't remember what it was called, but it's in there. Yeah, it's only about a 3-minute video, but yeah, I'd like you to go and have a look at it. Yeah, and see what you think.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what it is, Rob. It's on our channel. I can go dig it up and drop the link. Give me a second.
How long ago was that, Rob?
It was when I first got my camera, so it was 2 years ago.
So 17 years ago.
What?
A long time on flat Earth.
What did you just say?
2 years ago.
Well, I'll tell you what. Let's stop this bollocks because we've been going for an hour and a half. And
Do you have a break?
Come back. Let's finish this unbelievably excellent show, and we'll come back and talk nuts afterwards.
I'll get lining shit up.
Okay, so we got about 20 minutes or so.
About 20 minutes, yeah. It works out well because on the other side of the break, we're going to have Travis pop on. He's got some footage as well that I want to take a look at. Pretty similar. So we're going to have Travis talk us through some of his footage.
Some of the band called Ether.
And Roxanne, don't forget Roxanne.
Well, I was about to say, if we can get the other side, Rox has got a few bits to share with us as well. So I don't know if
I don't think any of us could ever forget Roxanne.
Nah.
Except Roxanne's router has gone down. But she's going to go reboot it now. So, it's all part of Iron Realm. It's what it takes.
Perfect time for a break.
Perfect time.
One router away.
You said I had 20 minutes.
I think they're pronounced Ruta.
Ranty, thanks so much for joining us, mate, and hanging around with us. That's absolutely awesome. You'll stick around for the second half, will you?
Sure, no worries.
Game on.
Yeah, I'm sure Travis would love to get a chance to talk to you too and shoot out some questions and have you see some of the pictures and some of the video that he's got. It's pretty interesting.
I have dropped the link to your disappearing boat video from 2 years ago, Rob. Ooh, wow.
If you could, I'd like to bring up because I know Ranty, you were having some issues with the definitions of scientific observations and things like that. John Savage, our fellow co-host here at IRM, had some similar things with the gyroscope experiment, and he said, "Well, I don't know if you guys want to play it, but pretty much in general, you can go screw your scientific anything. I'm going to do it the Zetetic way."
Damn,
pretty much the gist of his.
You didn't just bring that up, did you, Zach? I thought we were staying away from drama. We ain't got no time for that.
I got bronchitis.
We can't talk science, experiments, tests.
The naming of scientific stuff, it really doesn't concern. I'll be honest, doesn't concern me. And that's the same thing with us. Your observations are amazing. They tell a story without having to use those words. Yeah, exactly. I mean, my whole thing, let the guys with the gyroscopes have arguments with other guys with gyroscopes. For me, I observe stuff. I use logic and reason to determine what I'm actually seeing and the reasons as to what I'm seeing and what I'm not seeing. And that's it. I don't need scientific terms, and I don't need to class it as science.
Sweet.
Spot on, mate. Spot on.
I've got a gyroscope. Sorry, Adam. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, the scientific method is a very useful thing, but the comprehension of life and everything and the nuances of it ain't a method. We're human beings, and the scientific method is one of the many ways so we can get a surety, but actually common sense and logic and how we function in the world, we're all gifted with. And what your pictures do is just portray in greater detail what our eyes see and demonstrate common sense and logic and how we all function in the world. And we don't need science for your work, Ranty, because it's all about the world we live in. And it's very difficult with what you present now to deny the reality. But the other thing your work's doing, mate, with Panda Boat and lots of the other stuff is actually starting to demonstrate some ways of analyzing stuff and presenting scientific methods with the logic and observation, which are the early steps of the scientific method to get towards setting up an experiment. What you're doing here is demonstrating ways in which it's worth putting the effort in to an experiment with the amazing stuff that you've got. I mean, Panda Boat, they're like, I keep going on about it, but the rate at the ways that those decks compress, and they're all fairly even, and the way it demonstrates that difference over just, was it 33 feet, is amazing. And I had to crowbar a scientific method in with quantum eraser, and that was about aperture size and stuff. And there is a place for science, but science has got nothing to do with critiquing what you're doing, mate, which is absolutely smashing the ball model. And that's what this does. With logic and reason, you don't need science to absolutely take apart, which is what you've done, the ball model.
Love you, Meekin, but you've got some other jobs to be doing at the moment. But love
I'm ready
that.
for gravity when you girls are.
Love that. And there is an element to it as well, Ranty, that it's the fact that you were there in North Wales, you were there taking these photos, you were there seeing these pictures, you've done what you've done, and you don't really give a shit if someone turns around and says, yeah, but you were 2 foot higher than you said you were, or you didn't actually say this, or you didn't see this, or whatever. It's the same with me with the gyroscopes. I got the gyroscope, I proved it to myself. I don't need to argue with other people with gyroscopes. That wasn't the point to start with. The only reason I'm documenting it is because someone else might get something from it. But ultimately, from what I've seen and from what you've seen, you know it's a flat stationary plane just as well as I do.
Yeah, I mean, my own, personally, I like you say, I was there, I saw it, and I said what I saw. Just what you said though, that I don't need to do these measurements about a 2 feet or so. When he said that, I had a gentleman called Ruhif who messaged me on Skype. I'm sure you know who he is. He's definitely a globe earther, and he said to me that when I was doing the live stream, and I estimated that the tripod, where its feet were above actual sea level, which was just down this slope that I'd just filmed on my live stream, I'd said that it was about 3 feet above that. And then he messaged me and said, actually, no, I think you were 7 feet above that, and then you had the tripod on top of that. So then I messaged Rude Earther and asked him to go and measure it. Turns out it was 2 feet.
Exactly what I'm talking about.
So I got very anal about that because I do like to collect the data. And, I'm pretty honest with the stuff that I do.
Well, it was the same with me. I did the gyroscope thing, and then I attached. Everyone was banging on about the cable, so I made it wireless, attached to a battery, and just off the cuff said, and it even weighs less than the original configuration, and carried on. And Sly, whatever his dickhead name is, came out with a 30-minute presentation about how I was actually a liar. No, not just deceiving. I'm actually a liar because there's absolutely no way it could weigh less. And yeah, then I got anal about it, just like you say, and went back and proved that it did actually weigh less. So it's funny as fuck, isn't it?
I think these trolls would know better now, because essentially I've never lied about a single observation ever, and they've never been able to catch me out in any kind of lie, because I just don't do it. It's no point. I'm in it for the truth.
I'll tell you what though, if they've got subscribers over 1,000 what is it, 5,000 or 12,000, then I can see exactly why they do it, because they're getting paid very nicely, according to documentation that was accidentally screen shared. Whether you believe it or not is up to you. I think it probably was legitimate, but maybe we'll go into that in the second half.
Before we do, John, I've got a vague image of a YouTube video of you throwing shit on a set of scales that flashed up.
Sorry?
You throwing stuff on a set of scales.
Yeah, that's it. That's it.
Yeah.
It was Sly's Lie or something. I can't remember what the hell it was called, but
it's a bit like when Ranty brought out his tape measure. It's 7 foot, and it's 2 foot.
Well, there you go. You know, this is what happens if you read your comments. So I advise anyone never to read comments or reply to these fools. I made one reply, I think, to Sly, and that was it. Yeah, it's just a pointless distraction, waste of time.
I've kind of ruined it. They won't even comment on my stuff anymore.
You got it sussed, mate.
Yeah, well, I don't even read it. I wake up in the morning, I go make 2 trolls in the toilet, and I sit there and erase comments.
Well, the squeaky wheel gets the most oil, mate, so that's exactly how it is. If you don't respond, if you don't react, then they won't bother poking you anymore. And so many people need to try this at least and just turn off comments, or don't talk to them, or don't watch them.
Yeah, don't block them or anything.
No.
Because if you block them, you can't see their comments, but they still get to post on your videos. I just simply remove their comment from my video.
Which is your prerogative.
Yeah.
And as you've seen,
they
don't bother you.
Yeah, most of my videos are ideas or tests or observations that I've done. And I ask people for their feedback or comments and how to make them better. And I don't want people to come into my comment section, see some trolls comment, totally forget what they were going to say to me, and start arguing with somebody for 3 or 4 days, 180 comment thread, just wasting that person's time.
Yeah. No, it's like the gyroscope videos. If I knew how to get rid of the inane, pointless, retarded comments or repeated comments, then yeah, I probably would. It's just pointless, isn't it?
Yeah.
Right, end it, for crying out loud. How much do you need?
I've been ready. I've been ready way before. Josh, over to you, bruv. When you're ready.
I just got through telling you to hush your mouth.
Sorry. Walt sent me some things, and I'm just seeing what's going on.
I'm digging some of the new stuff coming out of the board.
Adam, what did you just say?
I love it. Thomas.
Hush your mouth, Adam.
I love it. I feel the need to aggravate that button.
You can thank Walter.
And stop talking.
Oh, yeah.
All right. I guess we'll let John go do his thing. He probably needs to step out the bus anyway. So we're going to head wrap this half up. Just on the other side of the break, we're going to have Travis Findlay himself of Red Hen Radio, REDHENN, 2 N's space radio. Red Hen Radio over there on YouTube. We'll be talking to Roxanne. Ranty's going to stick around with us. And yeah, who knows what the hell kind of trouble we're going to get into. So, Adam, why don't you go ahead and do that gravity thing you do?
We're up pretty high, our heads are on